Today, in our conversation, we have Kuselwa Mthethwa, our guest, who is in the technology consultancy space. She's the MD, chairman, and she's just doing wonderful things in asset management. Welcome, Kuselwa, and tell us about your story. What is your background? What are you doing?
I am a mother, businesswoman, a wife, and a sister, and everything that dynamic woman should be. In particular, I start up ventures and I grow them like little children.
Very interesting. I know you do run a asset management technology consultancy. So can you just take us through what your company does?
Ultimately, what the company does is implement solutions around asset management. So we have standard software that manages asset lifecycle. So we sell that software and then we implement it to the various companies. The challenge that we find is that the ICT environment or the software is a lot more mature than the industry itself in terms of how people are managing their lifecycle. So it's a challenge of bringing something that's totally different to what they're used to and implementing it in terms of automation.
So how are you striking the balance between making sure that you sell your technology to clients, but also fast track them in terms of saying you need to use this software?
It's an ongoing process with the clients that we currently already have, which we do change management with them. We bring them into the discussions around the implementation. We ensure that every implementation has a change manager, and we take business owners and the people that own the business flows through the process of the change. In addition to that, we also realize that the market needs the maturity and the understanding. So we are setting up various conferences and discussions. As it is now, the software that we're introducing in the industry is called Integrated Workplace Management, which is IWMS. So we're going to have a IWMS user group where we bring all the users of the current software, plus potential users of any form of software and any other players in the property space to engage and understand the role of an IWMS solution and all the other solutions within the property management space and asset management space. So we believe that it's not only for the clients that we need to actually bring the balance, we need to bring the industry on board so that when people start buying the software, they are prepared and they understand exactly how the software is going to implement their business.
So what's your understanding of transformational leadership? We get stuck so much in Africa that people hold on to power for too long, and it has an impact on the economy moving forward itself.
You require patience as a leader. Do the best that you possibly can. Don't restrict yourself. Don't restrict yourself and control and say this is all that I can do. There's so much that we all can do, and there's so much opportunity in Africa as individuals. No matter what your background is, no matter what your restrictions are, your constraints that you've had in life, if you put your mind to it, you can do anything that you set yourself to. And as a leader, that is my goal, to transform people thinking like that and making sure that they push themselves to the limit.
Kuselwa, what's your view on women-based violence and where we are and where we've been specifically in the past 4 weeks?
It's sad, Jazz. It's just sad that it's only being addressed now. And I think it doesn't stop at just the violence. The narrative that needs to still go out there is the general treatment of women throughout corporate and in all the other industries that lead to this type of violence. The struggles of subtle abuse that we endure as women in the corporate space. The problem is bigger than we actually think it is, and it's not discussed as it should be. We're always afraid as women to say that I'm a victim, or what I experienced is just minor, and yet it's actually something that's big that you do not deserve to experience in the industry.
Just one last thing from me, Kuselwa. What is the one motto that you live by every single day? Something that drives you, that keeps you going, that just gets you up and gives you a spark?
The ability to live another day, to be able to believe in Allah and to worship my God. And that to me is what drives me.
Thank you, Kuselwa, for your time. And this was the chairman of an asset management technology consultancy, something quite new, something quite exciting. And thank you for making time to come and be with us.
Thank you for listening to me and engaging me.
Today we have Poppy Machaya, our special guest in our conversation. Poppy is the IE country director in Africa. She's doing wonderful things. Poppy, what is your story? Tell us about yourself and just take us through what you are doing at the IE, especially in South Africa.
Perfect. No, thank you so much again for having me. It's a school that is for unique people. It allows you to be who you are. It allows you to bring your unique story into the community and then to meet people from all over the world and to learn about yourself and learn about what they do. And it's a very vibrant community, and that's what I got from the experience. And post-graduation, coming back home, I felt energized, renewed to get back into corporate South Africa and to have a meaningful career.
At the moment, you're back at home, Poppy, you're running the IE office in South Africa. What drives you?
That's an amazing question, because for me, what drives me and my purpose is to find people and to connect with them and to help them understand their career journey and what are their personal and professional objectives and how I can help them achieve that.
What is just the one motto you live by every day? Something that just resonates with you every day?
I think for me, it's the endless possibilities that life has to offer. Where you find yourself today is definitely where you're not going to be in a year's time or 2 years' time. And knowing that you have the ability to change your own circumstance and life and the universe coming together to achieve that for you.
In a country where I think we've always struggled with transformation, context leadership, diversity, inclusion, what's your take on that? I mean, where are we supposed to be? Where were we? And how can we fast track that if we can?
A lot of work has been done to try and reintegrate society and create diverse teams and diverse working environments. But I think what's important is that it shouldn't be something that's driven by, well, we have to do this.
Sure.
It should really be part of company strategy or the schooling system, because you deal with issues in different ways and you analyze issues in different ways. But when you come together and you understand the value of you coming together, will create magic.
Yeah.
That's when diversity is really being embraced. Without diversity of thought and background and culture and religion, gender, there's no learning, there's no progress, there's no growth.
I've got a question which might sound a little bit heavy. Women-based violence, which you've experienced, I think, in the past month. What was your feeling? Which space were you in? What narrative did you perhaps take for yourself out of the situation? Because as women, we all felt it. I'm sure men felt it as well, but I'm just talking from a women-to-women conversation. And how can we maybe improve that if we've got tools or resources to,
It's something that has been long coming. I'm not a historian, but I always kind of look back and say, how has our history affected us? How has, the way our family structure and our family life, how is it structured? How does it impact our boy child? How does it impact our girl child?
Absolutely.
What type of messaging is out there for both boy and girl child?
But just one last question, and this is perhaps for both of us, what can we do in South Africa to make sure that 1 or 2 or 3 other women experience IE the way that we both experienced it?
For me, the one thing that we can do as IE alumni is to continue talking about our home and our school and our alma mater and sharing the experiences we've had with our peers. At the end of the day, it is a European institution.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's scholarships, and for me, that's something that's quite important, is to say, how do we, from a local level, not only for IE, but I just think for international education as a whole, start seeing the value of that exposure that we need as a country to say, how do we bring back that diversity of thought, diversity of experience, and then help us to grow our country. So that's kind of my mission in life.
Thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate it. And this is Poppy, the Country Director of IE in South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jazz.